Lights is on the beat.
Hey y'all, welcome down to the podcast. We host got my 305. Yeah. And of course, alongside me is my co-host.
It's your boy Miami got jokes. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. What's good?
And of course, across from me is my other co-host.
It's your boy No Like and more people tune in. Let's get it.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the building. One of my favorites, you know what I'm saying? Because, Feeling Friday, you know what I'm saying? One of my favorites, entrepreneurs as well as corporate America, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Entrepreneurs.
Big time.
Big time. We have Wendy Neptune in the building. Y'all make some noise for Wendy Neptune, y'all.
Thank you.
Very much welcome. And Wendy, I'm not trying to boast or anything, but we were anticipating like this interview. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't wait until this happened. I want you to let our viewers know who you are and what you represent.
Okay, so my name is Wendy Neptune. I'm originally from Miami. Went to Miami senior high all the way to elementary and middle school.
That's what's up.
Attended the Florida A&M University, FAMU. Shout out to my Rattlers.
That's right. That's what right. Keep going.
So I received my undergrad in accounting and then also my MBA, and did that within 5 years, and then got recruited by a Fortune 500 company and started working there. So it's been about 5 years now.
That's what's up.
And then my thing is my story with you is you did this, you know what I'm saying, with the strength of carrying and burden of your own child, you know what I'm saying, and on top of that, you know what I'm saying, like there's a lot of single mothers that I know, for a fact that can't handle. I'm not gonna say you know everybody can, but it can't handle the last one or two that the stuff that you had to deal with, you know what I'm saying. So as far as single mothers concerned, like what kept your mind focused, you know what I'm saying, abroad on handling your business?
Well, first and foremost, my son. When you think about it, he gave me purpose in life. So I was in a relationship that basically I was following his purpose, his principles and values of life, and I kind of lost sight of mine.
Right.
So after I gave birth to my son, it's like my purpose just came out, and I had my own morals and values and principles, and from just moving forward with that, it's just we end up moving and just kind of separated. I ended up breaking up the relationship because I knew what I wanted now in life because I found out my purpose.
Do you feel as if that was like a start over in life when you found out your purpose?
Yes.
Like a new beginning?
Yes. So they usually say that when something typical, like horrible happened in your life, is either you will continue going down that same path and making those same decision, or you're going to decide to do something different. And when you do, a new life begins. So at that moment, I had a new life.
So as far as that strength was concerned, like it pushed you to keep going and continue with your degree and accomplish what again as far as your degree is concerned?
So undergrad in accounting, and then my
How long
master's
it
in
took you to
business.
take that?
So typically that degree is 4 years. I had a full ride to Florida A&M, and instead of finishing 4, I did it in 3. So during that time, I did not come back home for the summer. My scholarship required me to take at least 15 credit hours, which typically a full-time student would take 12. So that allowed me to finish extremely quicker. I was getting a large refund back because of my scholarship. I had free housing. I brought my first car with the money that I was getting. So that allowed me to just persevere and accomplish the goal extremely quicker than most.
Oh, you was making all the right choices in life. So you knew you couldn't mess up. So everything was a chess move for you.
Yes.
So hold on. So you telling me there was no partying, there was no chilling with your homegirls, no smoking, no drinking. It was just handling business when you had your little boy come out.
So
After the relationship as well.
So I finished school first. So I was done with school. It was when I started working. 9 months after is when I got pregnant. So from there, I had my degrees and everything already. It was just now trying to juggle being in corporate America, being unwed, African American woman, and trying to still persevere and accomplish my goals that I had set in my career. And that was very challenging because I was located in Memphis. I did not have my mother around. My mom was deported at that point in time. So even for the birth of my son, my mom was not there. The father of my child wasn't even there. So I got a lot of support from my coworkers that I worked with,
New
friends, and new friends.
Yes.
And so just with that, I just want to tell like the single mothers, when it comes down to your support system, it's not always with family sometimes, because your family, they could want to be there, but it's just some challenges sometimes, right? And then sometimes your family member are there. Like I remember I had an opportunity for a new position at my job. It required me to relocate to a city that's roughly like 3 hours away from Memphis. So I didn't have anyone there. My son at that point in time was 10 months old. And I went ahead and just jumped for it. I jumped, applied for the job, didn't know where I was going, and I just planned accordingly. And I feel like that's the biggest thing you can do in any goal that you set, is to plan accordingly. So once I did that, I mean, a new job, a new city, still an infant child, and I did not know what was going to happen. I didn't know what support I was going to have while I was there. And all of a sudden, I told my brother about this opportunity. I got the offer, and my brother is here right now, and literally, he moved with me and helped me with my son for 6 months.
That's what's up, dog. Hey, Salsa brother stepping up. What? That was the fire Knicks hat. God, that's too tough for the Knicks hat, man.
Now, I want to ask you a question because, knowing what you've been through, and, you said your coworkers helped you out, with taking care of the kid or whatever like that. I want to know, as far as because a lot of women go through these things, and pride sometimes get in the way of someone trying to help them, and someone trying to really see help their situation. At what point did you say, you know what, I'm just gonna put my pride to the side and see how far this can go? Or did you still say, you know what, I'm still gonna keep my guard up because I'm in such a bad situation, I don't want to put myself in a deeper hole? So how did you feel at that point when you seen your coworkers were helping you?
Well, just to start off with that, it was very hard, and I think sometimes we put that negativity in our mind based off of our experience and what we've seen. So when I first got pregnant, I didn't tell my manager until I was about 5 months. I didn't show until later on. I mean, I didn't wear dresses or skirts or anything like that. I wore, business professional attire, so nothing tight. So it took a couple months for everybody to even realize that I was pregnant. But like I said, it was 5 months and people still did not know. Yeah. And I didn't tell anyone because I truly believed that they were going to judge me. That's what I had in my head. Exactly. I'm in corporate America. Everyone around you, is married with children. Yes. And it's oh wow, I'm pregnant. They're going to start judging me. Yeah. And sure enough, as soon as I told my manager, my coworkers, everybody was extremely happy for me. It was to the point that, so to me, I was blessed because I had 3 baby showers. First year, I didn't have to buy anything. So when you talk about being having a great support system, and sometimes things are really in your head, my coworkers threw a baby shower for me. Literally, they brought me a crib, the mattress, everything you can think about, card, gift cards, just everything. So I'm saying here, sometimes we think about these people are going to judge you, but they're here to support you. As well. And I feel like sometimes it's we just sit here and we don't allow people to help us. So at that moment is when I realized that God ordained certain people to come into your life to help you. And I mean, my coworkers, shout out to Akimi, Miss Jennifer. Like I mentioned, when I got the promotion to go to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where I didn't know anybody, literally I had to travel about every week, every 2 weeks I was traveling. So now you're thinking about, sometimes I used to fly, so spend my own funds, which is investing in myself in this career path. I used to go ahead and book flights for me and my son to come back to Miami to have family support. Sometimes now that gets expensive, right? Yeah, so now I have to rely on other resources that I have, which then the planning comes into. So even when it comes down to my coworkers, since I was only 3 hours away from Memphis, where I originally met them, literally I would drive 3 hours, drop my son to them because those are the individuals that I trusted. And I built a relationship. I left my son with my coworkers, and literally I contact his old daycare that he was attending. It was a homeschool daycare, and they said that he could stay there for that week while I was traveling for work. And I paid for the daycare. And my coworker used to go to work and pick them up they were full-time mom, helping me with my son.
So you and your coworker must be really tight.
Yes.
Okay.
Man, shout out to
Kimmy, Miss Jennifer, and Tina. I mean, everywhere that I go, I find good people, right? So, like I said, I started in Tallahassee. Then I moved to Memphis. Then 2 years later from Memphis, I moved to Murfreesboro. A year and a half later, now I'm in Maine, and I've been there for a year.
Oh, I want to go to Maine.
Do you know where Maine is located?
Way up there!
Yes.
Way at the corner, yeah. I said I want to go to the corner. At the top of the top. You at the top. Oh, she made it.
Maine was a big move
Yo,
for
it's
me.
all white people, huh?
It's not a lot of diversity.
Oh, good.
Wow.
It's not, which is fine because I don't look at that. You know, opportunity is an opportunity,
Absolutely.
right? I think the biggest challenge for me at that point in time was I'm somewhere extremely far, right?
Mhm.
When I was in Murfreesboro, I had my coworkers that I had already established a relationship with. I knew I could rely on them. 3-hour drive wasn't, you know, extreme. But now I'm like close to Canada. Like when that opportunity came up, I had to think like, where is Maine? Maine? You know, and
You went to the map. No, you guys
look, I had to double
Google
check.
it.
I had to
It's next to
double
New York,
check.
right? That's right next to, it's next to West Palm Beach.
So that was a big move. So even when you talk about like diversity in Maine, I had a close relationship. I built a close relationship with my manager at my job. Even my other coworker, when she helped me out. My manager even had washed my son for me. Her husband had washed my son for me also.
Wow.
And you may be thinking, you know, a lot of single mothers, you know, it's kind of hard to get that support because
Yeah,
you're
of course.
always think about the well-being of your child, right?
Yes.
Most definitely.
These are not family, you know, per se, biologically. But when you think about it, sometimes you leave your child with your family biologically and some things happen regardless.
Yeah.
You know, so just because they're biological doesn't mean that they're always the great, you know, the best resource for you and your child. So
Exactly.
it's just establishing those resources and planning accordingly.
There was a quote I heard. It was a man who said, you know, your family. He said, yeah, my family is, you know, he started naming people he knew, like his brothers, like people he met. You know what I'm saying? He said, that's my family. And he started naming his cousins. He said, those are my family members. You know what I'm saying? He said, because he said, you gotta understand, there's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the people that looked out for me, that was there for me. And he said, these are my family members. They're part of my family, but they never met me. They never talked to me. They never respect me. They never did that. So at the same time, these are your friends, but you could call them family. And everybody else
They're
is
definitely my
member.
family.
Exactly.
I remember one time I was on the phone with my brother and one of my coworkers, she was doing something for me and I was like, I was just driving in the car, I'm like, man, Wes, you know, like, this feels so like unreal, you know, like just meeting great people and them like going out their way. And to mention like everyone that watched my son for me, all of my coworkers that I just named, they never charged me a dime. Not one time.
That's the
I
love
offer, they don't take it.
Wow.
And that's one thing for single mothers. It's like, okay, I don't have the resources, I don't have the money. Sometimes there's like genuine people out there that really want to help you. You know,
yes.
I don't ever ask, hey, can you watch my son so I can go to the club? You know, every time I ask, they know I'm doing something productive so I can go to another level, you know, to provide for my son.
Right, right.
But there is girls that's out there that do ask, you know, for that, like, you know, watch my kids one time, please.
I go shake my
I'm
ass
like,
right
no, they
quick.
don't want to say nothing, boom, then you go on their story, they add, you know what I'm saying, they vibe and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I say you prioritize yourself. You know what I'm saying? You knew your time, your 24 hours was worth way more than just partying and chilling and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm proud of you. Now, one question I do want to ask you is, as far as being a single mother in corporate America, is it tougher, you know what I'm saying, because you did mention, you know, there's married women with families and whatnot. Is it tougher for you to get opportunity or compared to them, or you don't see the stigma whatsoever?
I do not. At first I did. And, you know, they probably at first had it, but it all goes down to, you know, are you doing what you need to do, right? Even when I was in Memphis, literally I had to work basically from 7 and get off by 4:30 to make sure I go pick up my son because I had nobody else. So I had to make sure I got all my work done. I mean, I was breastfeeding at work. So literally, like, now my time got even shorter because I would have to leave, go to the office, you know, breastfeed, you know, pump, and then come back to work and finish my work at that time frame. Like, that was my cutoff. So me having a child made me way more productive,
Yes.
you know, versus me wasting that time. So absolutely not. Even in that program when I had to travel, not one time did I say I can't do it, or not one time, you know, an issue came up when I said, hey, you know, my son, I just can't, or I don't have a babysitter. So by me establishing, you know, just their respect and showing them like, hey, my son is not a factor, it's not going to happen. I remember my manager, you know, I told her when I was in, it's a controller associate program. So basically I was in the program to learn how to become a controller. So I used to travel all the time, like I mentioned before. And so she used to come to me and let us know, the associates, if there were any opportunities. And I had to tell her, hey, I know you know I'm a single mother. Do not stop any opportunities or make a decision for me when it comes to opportunities, because, hey, yeah, this is going to be far. You know, she'll probably have her son. I don't want her, you know, traveling. I said, let me make that decision. And sure enough, she said, Wendy, I agree with you. I'll let you, you know, make that decision. And so by me saying that and then just holding everything up to a great standard where I never had to cancel. I remember one time my child was sick, Christian, my son. Literally, I went to work with him. Like, he was sick. He couldn't go to daycare. It was one of our busy days. And that's another stigma, right? I'm like, they gonna think.
People think this.
Yeah, she can't find a babysitter.
Yeah.
You know, she bring her kids. You know, she bring her child to work with her. You know, like literally all this go in my head. But when I brought, like, every time I bring my son, everybody's like, oh, like everybody stopped what they're doing at work just to come play with him. The manager took him to the office. You know, he liked to play with like fidget toys, which is like the little hand toys to kind of keep you occupied. And he gave Christian all his toys, went and played with him so I could do my work. So I'm telling you, majority of the time, it's things that's in your head.
It's in your head.
It's all in your head. It's
So,
all in your head.
Is it like, is it more so like in any situation where it's like all the time when you walk around this world, it's all in your head, you thinking of what these individuals are judging you upon. You know what I'm saying? It's not exactly what it is. So you more so encourage people to just be themselves
and go for it.
Go for it.
And go for it. You could plan as much as you can. So every time I had to relocate, like literally, I'm a spreadsheet guru. So I just pull out spreadsheets in Excel and I just start planning. Like literally, you know, looking up daycares, and I have to make sure that the daycares are near my job because I have to make sure if something happened, I could get to him because I have nobody else. So just doing those, finding a home that's nearby. You know, just all these different things. But by me taking up and going and getting that promotion and that job, literally I doubled my salary in a year and a half of being in that program.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, those opportunities are there. And if you don't, you know, take it on, you're gonna miss out, or you feel like you don't have the resources. You know, you're gonna miss out. Like literally, like now, I'm debt free.
That's right.
No student loans, no car notes,
That's right.
no credit card debt.
That's right. No credit card debt. That's right.
You know, because you know, people would hear, okay, she have all these degrees. Look, she in debt. She's in the hole.
Nope, that's not
she's
what
a
it
single
is.
mom. She probably have credit
cards. Nope, that's not what it
Negative.
is. And then when we have our donation on our show, we will call you. We'll give you a call. We will give you a call.
But that's important. Taking those opportunities, because this is not just about me, but this is for my son.
Right.
You know.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Here's one thing I do know. This is how I felt. And this is so different for females in different areas, different situations. Like when I went to Alabama or Tampa for college, whatnot, like I felt I didn't feel the judgment. You know what I'm saying? I felt a fresh start. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nobody don't know me, you know what I'm saying? Like I could sit in this corner, act like a bum, and I don't feel anything, you know what I'm saying? So you feel way more comfortable and way more open, you know what I'm saying, to reach out to other folks. Now think of there's certain single women that I speak to down here, and then here's the thing that they say, oh, they gonna talk about me, you know what I'm saying? Because now there's people that they know that's around them. They gonna talk about me. They gonna say this. They gonna say I use people money. They gonna say this and that. And in certain situations do occur. You know what I'm saying? So, what kind of encouraging words do you have for those individual single mothers that have to deal with these occurrences happening in their life? Because
I would say everything first happened in your mind, right? So if what you think is what you get out, right? So if I think positive thoughts, then I have positive actions that goes with that. I mean, sometimes people may not want to help you, and that is fine, but when you think about the consequences of you not asking, which one is greater, right? What's the consequence of being greater? You know, somebody telling you no, or you still in that same situation that's not benefiting you whatsoever. You know, and 9 out of 10, there's people out there that truly want to help you. I mean, there are nice people out here who want to help, but if you don't open your mouth, then how you expect them to help you? So think about what's more important, my current situation, being in debt, you know, or not being around family. I had to sacrifice those things. You know, ever since I graduated, well, basically ever since I graduated high school, you guys went to school with me. I never moved back to Miami.
We miss you.
Right? And it's and it's not because I don't love you guys, you know, or I don't love my family. But my mom tell me up to right now, Wendy, you gonna come back to Miami and then what? Yeah, you're gonna be around family, but guess what? You can always fly back to come see family. What you're doing right now is so positive.
Yes.
You know, don't lose out on that opportunity because you just want to be in your comfort zone. And that's what typically happens when you're in your comfort zone.
Well, you ain't trying to leave.
You don't go anywhere, and you don't grow.
Yeah, you don't grow.
You do not grow.
Yeah.
And I mean, right now I'm in Maine, in the middle of nowhere. Do I have a lot of friends? No. You know, are there times where I do want to break? I do want to go out, you know, because I work and I spend time with my son, like literally. But when I think about everything that I accomplished, even within that time frame, like literally for me to do all this, I had to transform my mind. First and foremost, I had to transform my mind. But just in this last year being up there, which I always say isolation is transformation. You know, when you're not in the area amongst, you know, your comfort zone with people that you know, you tend to, you know, find your inner soul better.
Oh, yes.
So I learned to love myself
Yes.
for who I truly am, you know, versus trying to conform to, you know, your environment.
Yes.
So like right now, I'm writing a book. So that time when I'm up there and it's snowing and I'm stuck in the house,
Yes.
which is fine. I'm writing a
You
book
being
right now.
productive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I became a life coach.
Yeah.
So for all the single mothers who need help, guidance, or coaching, I am available. Hit my Instagram up, Miss_Neptune. I help with budgeting, which is a big factor of how I got out of debt.
We will
know,
throw up the link as well. We will throw up the link, y'all.
It is very important because when you think about just debt and just single mothers who just struggling, you know, it's sad. It's really, really sad. And I was at that point where I was living paycheck to paycheck. Like I was there. I was there. No help for anybody. It was me and my son. Like that is a tough situation.
That is a tough situation.
When you have a car note, you have rent, you have light, you have daycare, you have you know Pampers, you have it's a lot.
And then you got a check coming in 2 weeks or a week that can't pay for them to half that shit. They only can take care of a quarter of all that. I know exactly. And then now you thinking to yourself like, what I'm gonna do? You fold it in your head. Not from a woman's standpoint. But no, I don't have a child. So no, I don't know that. Like just bills piling up. You know what I'm saying? I know half of that. You probably had like double the amount. I just know half of that. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, I understand.
Now that you got to there, right, and going through what you've been through, how did you manage? Because a lot of women that go through these things, their first option of bailout is, oh, let me go find a man that can help me take care of these. How did you manage to say, you know what, I'm really gonna do this on my own? Like I'm like just to stay laser focused and not try to like. Did you have to go into dating world, or you just say, you know what, I'm good where I'm at. Let me continue this path down myself. How did you manage that?
So it wasn't more so. I always been like very independent, as you guys know. Me just growing up, I was never just relying on a guy to take care of me, right? I think with me it was more managing my funds because with the guy that I was with, it was whatever he wanted, right? Because I'm not financially greedy or anything like that, right? So it was easy for that to happen until when I finally knew my purpose. Then I started managing my money differently, right? Like I said, even right now, I got out of debt. My son have an investment account, you know, at his age already. Like those things, I started educating myself. So that's the number one thing, is like educating yourself. Which, I mean, I listen to a lot of positivity. Like motivational speakers. Miles Monroe was one of my like top motivational speakers. When I get up in the morning just to have like a lot of positivity, I listen to him. Like I probably know like every single one of his speaks, you know, that he have on YouTube. But then even then, like I listen to it over and over and over again because I mean, you can listen to something and don't pick up on that one thing because you're not going through that particular situation. You know, so I mean, he helped transform my mind. You know, so it's listening to a lot of positivity, just transforming your mind. You don't need a guy. Yes, if you want a guy, that's fine, but you really don't need. And I'm at the point in my life where if you can accept me and my son, because we are a package deal.
Yes.
look.
It's a pretty good package, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
Not fucking around.
Yeah, good credit. That's
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? That's, I heard good credit.
Got
That's
good benefits, you know what I'm saying? Got a house, got a car. Hey, better stop bullshit.
So that's what I'm about to get to right now. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel as if, you know what I'm saying, 'cause there's a lot of women that's at your level that they're so strong, they feel like they never need a man, you know what I'm saying? Or is it, do you feel as if you don't need a man, or you feel as if you gonna need a man at your certain
Exactly.
Good
question.
I'm gonna need a man at my mental level.
mental
Okay.
level?
Mental level.
Oh, nice,
It's-
nice.
It's very, very critical. Somebody that I can grow with, you know. I mean, if you have the mental stability and you just need support, then I'm here to support. You know, not just financially, but support you in your ideas and whatever you're trying to do. You know, so it's not financially. That money could come and go tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have that right mindset, we can rebuild together. So that's where I'm at. You know, if I could find a husband,
Mm-hmm.
not just a boyfriend, not just a fiance, a husband.
Okay.
Prenup.
Where, you know, we can build together, have, you know, we have similar mindset and goals, because that's one thing in any relationship. If you guys are not on the same page and have, you know, similar goals where you guys can come together, then it's not going to work out. You know, and that's what happened in my last relationship. I just, you know, had a different mindset, so we drifted apart, and that's okay. So that's one lesson that I learned, is that you need to make sure that you guys are on the same page.
Okay, that's what's up. Now, you brought up the marriage aspect of things. Do you feel like a lot of women put a lot of pressure on getting married? Because once a woman gets married, she does look down upon women that are not married. Why can't it be that, you know, women that are not married, women that are married, women that are just single mothers, women that have no kids, why can't we just all look at them the same way? I mean, what's the purpose of the anarchy? If you per se.
I think it all goes back to your head. You know, we were just, I guess, when you think about like those mindset, right? Like in history, that's what they put in our head, is that you have to get married, you know, you have to go to college, get in debt, you have to go ahead and buy a house and get in debt, you have to get married, you have to do all these things. But who said it got to be in that order?
No.
You know, just because you're doing that order doesn't mean that your situation is better than my situation. You know, and even people that are married right now, are they truly happy? Do you know what they're going through? It's just a status, right? And I'm not defined. I'm a mother that is single, but not to say that I have to be a single mother.
Right.
You know, it's all how you interpret things. So, no, I don't look at it any type of way. I am a great individual, and I know it. I have that confidence because I know what I have gone through, and it took a lot for me to get to where I'm at right now, just mentally.
And your next level.
And nobody can take that away from you. That's the
Not at all.
precious thing about it, man.
Now, of course.
That's
Now,
what's
now I'm big on books. That's my thing. I love reading. You know what I'm saying? I've gained that. I've got that within college. I want to know exactly. You say you have a book that you have that you plan on having or coming out soon.
Next year.
And what's the ideas of the book? And it said you're helping single mothers as far as the advice concerned, or explain that to me more.
So the book is going to be basically my story and things that I went through as a single mother. So it's going to be structured like a novel, and just for you guys to see how my mindset changed throughout the years of me being a single mother and the type of people that I have around me, which is very critical. How my circle changed and my mindset have changed, and how it even impact my son, right? Because when you have a child, you're always thinking about, hey, if I move them here, how would that impact them? You know, because kids need structure, but through my move, my son gained a whole lot too.
Of course.
He is an awesome kid. Just being able to adapt. How many adults you know that can adapt to new situations, right? In order for you to be successful, that's one of the key things, is being able to adapt, because change is going to happen regardless. So, and that's just my mindset. If change is going to happen, then I want to be able to make what I want the changes to be, versus wait on it to happen, you know, and then I lose control of it.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna change how I want my life to be. I'm gonna plan my life out and just embrace those changes to happen. But even like with my son right now, he just turned 4 last Friday, and literally, so you think about it, just before he turned 4, in 3 years, he stayed in 3 different places. 3 different places. You know, so he experienced 3 different daycares, 3 different homes already. Like, dude know how to adapt, you know, and and so you know, I love just sharing this story. But when I moved to Maine, you know, that was, like I said, that was a big change. So when it came to my son, you know, I brought him to daycare, you know, and that was his first time. And I was like, you know, he went there and just started playing with the kids. And he was like, I was like, oh man, when I leave, he's gonna start crying. He's gonna have separation anxiety.
Yeah.
So I was like, Christian, you know, mommy's leaving right now. I'm gonna go to work. I'll come back and pick you up later.
Yeah.
He was like, bye, mom. And I mean, at that point, I wanted to start crying. You know, just as a mom, like, I feel like you're supposed to need me. You know. But like, that's the positive things about coming, you know, out of all of this is that he just adapt to new people. You know, he's experiencing different things. And it's so funny because actually my brother and my mom, when I come down, she always like spoil me, right? So that's another good thing about going away and then coming back. They miss you so much, they just spoil you, right? So every time I come back, my mom always cook for me, right? So my mom's cooking, and you know, my son went in the kitchen, was like, what you doing? She was like, I'm cooking for mommy. And he was like, mommy eat lobster. Like, what? Yeah, what you cooking? It's not lobster, right? But he been up in Maine for a year, and like, you know, Maine is known for lobster, so you know, I cook lobster quite a bit. So that's the experiencing that he's getting. Like, what 3-year-old really know lobster and know, you know? Like so it's all these different things, and like just with diversity. You know, being around other kids that don't look like him.
That's what that's what I want my child to experience. You know what I'm saying? Diversity. You know what I'm saying? And this is a whole bunch of bloods. I know it's a whole bunch of bloods.
It's a lot.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I like my child to see that. You know what I'm saying? So number one thing I want to show, I want to tell and experience my child is like, you know, I want my child to know fear. You know what I'm saying? So I want them to have hands on anything with everything. You know, be around. If you see them say, white folks act like this, black folks act like that, Hispanics act like this. You know, be around these folks and find out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be hands on with everything you do before you judge it. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you how smart, how amazing and smart Wendy is. Right? It was in high school. You went to North Miami High with us? I think it was North Miami High, North Miami Middle. Let me tell you how fucking amazing Wendy is. So the school, I'm trying to remember if it was middle school or high school. So the school was having an award ceremony, right? An award ceremony. Right? So I'm thinking like, I wasn't that smart. So the only award I knew I could win was like perfect attendance. So I told my mom, I said, yo mom, they're gonna have an award ceremony, come see me win this award.
Yeah.
Man, we get to the award ceremony, I kid you not, I think Wendy won every single fucking award, bro. And you know, Haitian mom, she's like, look, why you can't be like her? Why you can't be like her? No, everything. Wendy Neptune, best grade. Wendy Neptune, best attendance. Dude, Wendy won like 20 awards that day, bro. I was so ashamed, bro.
Oh my God, that was...
You know, I appreciate that. But I would say another thing that kind of helped me get to this point is having great mentors, right?
So that's your one advice that you'll give. I want that one advice you'll give every single woman in America right now.
There's a lot. But first is believing in yourself. I'm sorry, I can't just give one.
Yes.
Can I give at least 5?
No, you answer the question. You answer the question the way you want to answer the question.
Okay. So definitely believe in yourself.
Yes.
Right? Get advice from people that are where you want to be. Right? Sometimes we get advice from our friends just asking, oh, what you think, you know, I should do? Mm-hmm. Or, hey, I got this money, what do you think I should do with it? But then that person broke. So what you expect is going to happen? You're going to end up being broke.
Yeah, you're going to have out.
Exactly, right? So, and then find out what your purpose is in life. Right? Because if you don't know your purpose, then every decision is going to seem right to you. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened to me. Like, once I knew my purpose, then I knew what to do and I knew what not to do, because I know where I'm trying to go, right? So definitely that, like I said, mentors, Officer Stewart, Dr. Smith, I talk to him like every week still. Like, those two are like my top mentors, like in life, even financially. You know, we talk about investments, just everything. And I would say another thing too that just came to the top of my mind is that sometimes you get advice even from family, and they don't know your purpose and they don't know what God has ordained for you. So sometimes you listen to them and it's not the right decision. Like there were plenty of times where family members that I love to death, like love them and I know they love me and they have their best interests at heart for me. But when I was telling them I was moving to Murfreesboro, moving to Maine and I have no support, they were like, no, Wendy, don't do it. But like I said, those were the best decisions of my life. So just know what you want, know your purpose, and get advice from people that truly know where you're trying to go and they know that those decisions would be best for you.
All right.
That's
And also believe in God.
Believe in God.
Believe in God. Because he show out in my life. He is showing out.
That's the first thing you supposed to say. We're like, yeah, all that. Oh, and God. Oh my gosh. Oh, God.
Best
God.
for last.
And God.
Best for last.
That's for last.
No, because honestly, when I talk about relationships, building with, my coworkers and stuff, like every time I move, I didn't know. Yes, I planned, but I don't know all the details.
Yeah.
Like, so even my brother coming, I had accepted the job and everything. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do, but God, every time you make a move, like, in order for God to even help you, you got to have a plan.
Yeah.
Right.
For him to do his part. You don't have a plan, how you expect him to help you?
Yep.
So when do we expect the book to drop, like a date? And do you have a title for this book already?
I do have a title for the book. The book right now, I'm thinking summer of 2020 is the tentative date. The book title is, you guys are getting exclusive. It is called I Didn't Know I Was Me.
That's
fire.
spicy.
That's fire. I buy books too, you know what I'm saying? I go on Amazon
spicy.
purchase.
I like that.
So I don't do all that bootleg. So I'm
Make
gonna
sure
be all in.
y'all wait on it, but I did not know I was me.
All right, listen. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna read that thing. I'm gonna judge you. I'm gonna have you right back here.
I want my autograph. I want you to
Yeah,
autograph
me
it.
too. You gonna have you right here back here talking about
Trust
it.
me, I'm definitely gonna come back.
Yes.
As soon as my book drop, like that's the #1 city. I'm coming back to Miami for that.
Yes.
So you guys.
Hopefully you win bestseller and book of the year, all that.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's the toughness.
Like,
you
it
know
make me
what
want to go home and say, babe, let's put on a spreadsheet.
I'm saying? This is what I want to do. This is what I
And
want
that's
to do.
another thing. You talk about advice. Write down your goals.
Yes,
Write down
a
your
vision
goals.
board.
So I had my vision board, and literally this year I knocked everything out from like finances. And the way I do it is by different categories of my life. So spirituality, finance, family, career, self-development, all the things that I want to do in those different categories, just to make sure that
That's what's up.
I'm always working through everything.
If you have a class, I'm not gonna lie, if you have a class for stuff like that, I would totally join.
Seminar, class,
For real.
on
I
it.
would totally join, bro. Cause like sometimes like we be like so like vague to it. It's like whatever, okay, I got it. But then it's like, okay, 5 years later, you still in that same debt you was paying like 10 years ago.
So with the debt itself, was it more? Did you like find help, or did you like handle it yourself as far as going out making your payments, or did you like make a phone call towards an agency so they can help you fix your credit?
Like a loan thing?
No, like a bad credit agency fix your credit.
A credit repair
Yeah,
company.
credit repair company.
So, okay. So,
Because some taking their own hands. I want you to let everybody know so you can help them out. You know what I'm saying?
so I had good credit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had my son, like I said, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had stopped paying my student loans, which is a big no-no. I didn't even go to like for Veramil or anything like that. Like I just couldn't afford it. So I stopped paying. Didn't know the impact it would have on my credit. So my credit dropped to 488.
Oh Lord have mercy. That sound like mine right now. Let me go
I
check.
had like literally when I had my son was when I had checked. Before then it was in the 700s.
Yeah.
So just for not paying my student
That
loans,
shit dropped.
it dropped to 488.
Major.
Now my credit score is back in the 700s. And I fixed that all by myself by educating myself. So basically I didn't go to a credit repair.
There we go.
Everything that you need to do is all
Could
on
be
the internet.
self-taught.
Yeah, it's all self-taught. You think about your credit utilization, which is like one of the biggest factor in your credit score. At that point in time, I didn't know with my credit I wasn't supposed to use more than 30% of the line of credit. So I started doing that. I went ahead and with my car, pay that off, because when you think about it, when you pay off debt, your credit score really go down. They want you to be in debt.
In debt, yep.
Right? So, but when you think about it, would you prefer to be in debt, or when you pay it off, now you're keeping all of the interest that you're giving them, right? And when you think about it, yeah, and the asset that I had is not truly an asset when you think about it. It's a car. It depreciates.
Yeah.
You know, it'll bring
the lot, boy.
yes, it depreciates. So why would I continue giving them money? So I paid it off. It was to the point I started all of this, like I said, back when I was in Murfreesboro. And at a point in time, one of my homegirls needed help, somewhere to stay. And like I said, it was me and my son. I told her she could come and stay. She didn't even have a job yet, but I believe in my homegirl. She went job hunting like as soon as she got there. But guess what? Like 2 months later, she got a job. And guess what I got? A roommate. And guess what I got? Extra income. So when you think about it, now, okay, when you get extra income, you can go blow it. If I didn't have this renewed mindset of mine, I would have probably went and blowed it.
Yep,
you know, you go out to eat.
Yep,
you know,
every day.
You go out to eat. You go spend money on clothes. All these different things. Just to put it on Instagram.
I feel bad right now.
Let's don't look. So another thing, even like when I moved from Murfreesboro to Maine, some of my coworkers was like, man, you know, the city is so cold. You're gonna have to get a brand new wardrobe. You know, you're gonna spend a lot of money. Oh, guess what I did? The Goodwill was my best friend.
There we go.
When I was in Murfreesboro, the Goodwill had sales that were like every Sunday, where everything a certain color was like $1.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I was gearing up. I said planning is very essential.
Yes,
like it's very,
it
very
is.
critical that you plan.